Karmic justice and happy ending. So, those of you that frequent this sub know I comment here a lot. This will be my first, and likely only, post. For those that know me well, you'll also know I had a fast, easy, and amicable divorce, despite my ex cheating on me. I've never sought revenge, and never planned to. I promised to never badmouth him, never did, and still haven't. I never will. Many people on here love to ask if they should seek revenge, or how they can get back at a cheating spouse. My response, and many others' response, is always just to move forward and live the best life you can. Well, this is a story about how I did just that, and that was truly the best revenge I could get. It's also a happy ending story. So, a story most will love. So, my ex and I split, fast divorce, 50-50, no lawyers, filed online, done in a month and a half. I stayed in the house to live until we sold it. The first few weeks we tried to remain friends until I cut this off and he seemed sad, but fine with that. We remained on good terms, just not trying to be friends. The first sign of slight trouble came before we filed, when he got a bit threatening about what I would and wouldn't get, but backed off when I reminded him we just both wanted to get it done. Second sign of trouble came when I asked him if he would entertain the idea of me buying him out. He said he would, but then proceeded to be a huge during the conversation, once again threatening me. This time by telling me he would sell the house without my permission since he's the only one on the title, despite us being in a community property state and it being purchased during the marriage. He told me he didn't need my cooperation, so I told him he wouldn't get much of it when it came to showings. Still, I allowed the house to be shown, just not as often as he would have liked. The price had to be dropped. When we got an offer, he wanted me to take it so bad he offered me more money than he would get and some concessions as well. I didn't really even talk during this conversation, he just kept offering, so I took it. I won't list them all, but I accepted. He thanked me and our relationship was still cordial. Here's where it finally comes to an end. The day before the final walkthrough I get the escrow breakdown that I'm supposed to sign off on. Lo and behold, the agreed upon amount that I was supposed to get wasn't correct. I tell the title company it's incorrect, she tells me she'll reach out to the ex and get back to me. She does and tells me nope, he says it's correct. So, I text X, tell him sale is dead, cancel the walkthrough. He panics trying to get me on the phone. I will not respond to that. I finally do, recording the call, of course, with permission from one of the parties, and he tells me that he doesn't believe it's fair that I get more money than he does. I told him it didn't matter to me if it was fair because it was the deal he made. He tells me that he can just kick me out of the apartment. I gave him the order to carry it out and then I hung up the phone. He starts to freak out and calls me back. Lots of back and forth with him begging and pleading for me not to kill the deal, and he says he already emailed telling them to fix it. There was also a lot of arguing between us. The thing is, I told him that too late, that deal is no longer valid, it expired when he tried to stab me in the back and missed. Here's the thing, though, it expired when he tried to stab me in the back and missed. Because of this, he anticipated that the walkthrough would have already taken place, that I would have no leverage, and that I would be screwed. He swore under oath that wasn't the case. He pushed his luck one too many times and thought I would give in to his sob story about being so sorry and forgive him so we could move on. He lied, cheated, and manipulated others in the typical manner of a liar and manipulator. So, what was it that I did? I made him pay. I purposely kept him awake all night by making him believe the business transaction would not go through. The next morning, just a few hours before the walkthrough, I told him that if he wanted the transaction to go through, he would have to pay me more money and not get in touch with me again. So, what is the punishment? 5 times the amount he tried to take from me. If he just would have signed the deal he made, he'd have a lot more money right now. What was supposed to be a 50-50 split on the proceeds of the house ended up being 62-38, all because he wanted to be A to me. The lesson here? He got revenge on himself and I got justice. I was more than happy to walk away with 50-50, but he me over so many times and this was the last time. This is a man who smugly told me a judge wouldn't care about his affair, adultery doesn't matter in our state, I would never get alimony, and he could evict me. Well, while he danced on the 50-yard line I got the TD. Everything was completed today. All done. I knew karma would catch up to him, but didn't expect it to be so fast. This was death by 1,000 stupid decisions. I got a lot more money out of him after our divorce was finalized, all due to his own hubris and ego. I got more money from the sale of the house than I would have had it sold for the original price. He would have been better off letting me buy him out. I wished him the best and truly hope to remain on good terms with him, but I've shown him too much grace and kindness over the years. He doesn't deserve it. He finally got what he deserved and it was all self-inflicted. I felt a little bad for a moment when I saw the final payout, But then I remembered all the rotten things he did to me and all the kindness I showed him. I also was still able to stick to my belief that you should never do something your future self wouldn't be proud of just because someone hurt you. My future self will be proud of me for getting justice and finally telling this man he pushed me too far. I didn't do anything wrong. So, let the trash take itself out, Redditors, it always does. Story 2. Husband's infidelity caused a heart attack. My husband and I met in college and we didn't get married until about 4 years after we both graduated. There is still plenty of time for us to continue being together while also remaining independent in our own right. When I'm with a guy, I don't feel insecure at all unless he gives me a reason to feel that way. Because I have faith in my partner and know that they will continue to be loyal to me, I am even the type of person who will say things like, "Dude, look at that chick, she's got huge boobs." It had been maybe 3 months since we had moved in together when I was at home while my husband, then boyfriend, was at work. Since we shared a computer, he had left his Facebook page open, and there was a constant pinging, so I went to look, and it was his ex-girlfriend. I was shocked to learn that she was still in contact with him. Even though he claimed he did not have feelings for her anymore and that he was not communicating with her, it appears that they had been sending each other text messages and pictures. I confronted him, and he assured me that he would never treat me in such a manner again. And he has not done so. Until I discovered that I was expecting our twins. I've been on Instagram alongside my husband, and because the neighborhood we lived in was so small, everyone knew each other. As a result, I would see him liking other girls' thirst traps, but I didn't give it much thought because he also likes the pictures I post because he's a fan of his wife's work. However, a girl who we knew personally posted a rather suggestive photo, and I saw my husband comment on it. Now that I have confronted him, being the angry pregnant lady that I am, he dismisses my concerns as unfounded and leaves sympathetic comments on my social media posts. I try to ignore it as best I can because our children and my job are much more important to me than worrying about people's silly comments. Now fast forward to the week before last, when he was out doing errands without his phone. Oh yeah, he wrecked the car we shared and lied and said it had insurance but he hadn't paid it in months. I took care of the other half of the bills thinking he was being responsible as well, and all of a sudden, his phone received a notification saying, "Hi honey." When I turn around right away, I can see that he is having conversations with 4 different women. "I had a dream you were in these black panties, my queen," telling one girl good night and good morning when he doesn't even do that with me. "I had a dream you were in these black panties, my queen," so I confronted him once more, and he admitted that he enjoys catfishing women and that it's just the way he is by nature. I was so appalled and heartbroken by what he had done that I felt like my chest was literally collapsing in on itself. After that, the next thing I remember, I'm waking up in a hospital because I have cardiomyopathy. I had been working my off at work so that we can get out of this infested apartment after he got fired and quit 2 jobs earlier this year, prompting me to do my best to save. I want to stay, but this is the second time he has done something wrong, and after everything that has happened in the past year to our relationship, I don't want it to continue. However, we have 3 children under the age of 3, and it's already difficult because he works nights and I work mornings, and I am the primary parent responsible for taking care of the children. I'm not only worn out, but also furious, and I don't have any more patience to give to him. I just wanted to have a pleasant Christmas, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen.